Hey DC, executive producer Annie Reese here. At the end of today's episode, we've got a sponsored segment by District Bridges with special guest Anna Claire Walker, who's going to talk with me about the return of Tour del Taco, a month-long citywide event where you can explore DC's most delicious taco and pupusa spots, earn points, compete to become a taco connoisseur, and even win gift cards and swag. It's brought to you by District Bridges, so stick around. We'll tell you how to play, where to go, and why this event is such a big boost for local small businesses across DC.
Today on CityCast DC, it's April, and we're going to try to get into what the best way to spend your April is so you can have the best April ever. I'm here with my CityCast colleagues, Bridget Todd and Annie Reese, and this April guide is sponsored by District Bridges, returning with Tour del Taco. From April 1st through April 30th, food lovers can earn points by exploring local taco and pupusa restaurants and supporting small businesses. Complete challenges in the free online game to score points and win the ultimate title of DC's Taco Connoisseur. Sort of a French word there, not a Spanish one, but all good. Sign up now at districtbridges.org/Tour del Taco. Sign up for free and start earning points today. Oh, and after the show, Anna Claire Walker from District Bridges will be joining us for a conversation about Tour del Taco. Stick around to learn more. It's Wednesday, April 1st. I'm Michael Schaefer, and here's what DC is talking about. Hey, Bridget.
Hey, Mike. Happy April.
Happy April to you, too. Hey, Annie.
Hey, Mike.
Do you guys have any April Fool's gags for me?
Has anyone here ever successfully done like a really good April Fool's prank? And do you love them or hate them?
I hate April Fool's Day.
Oh,
when I was
really?
working at MSNBC every year, we had to have a little webinar that was like, don't get fooled. You're going to see things online that aren't true. No need to flag them if they're just pranks.
One year when my daughter was really little, she snuck out to the sidewalk and pulled the Washington Post out of its delivery bag and replaced all the headlines with headlines in magic marker about how I, her dad, was the craziest dad ever.
Wait, that's such a cute prank. That's an example of an actually great April Fool's prank.
It was
that's
a great,
adorable.
I mean, just to be clear, scoop if true. I wasn't necessarily fooled, but I was incredibly charmed and pleased by this.
I think the pranks that can actually fool you sometimes, it's like there's always a resentment where it's like, oh, I got fooled. So no, I'm not planning anything crazy.
So for folks who have not listened to one of our monthly guides before, we do them every month. And they kind of dovetail with what CityCast is supposed to be about, which is connecting you, the listener, to your city in the best way possible. So we're going to talk through the calendar of the month ahead, some of the things we are looking forward to, some of the secrets that we may have for navigating the city of ours in the month. And I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you'll listen. Let's start with stuff to do. Bridget, what do you got that is on your wish list?
It's such a jam-packed time of year, so it was honestly kind of hard to pick. But just in the spirit of a lot of the conversations we've been having here at CityCast, I'm really looking forward to this event called Behind the Headlines, Stories from DC's Black Journalist. Have you heard about this?
No, tell us more.
So it's put on by Story District, and it's 5 Black journalists who cover DC sharing true personal stories about the work, pressure, and purpose behind the headlines. So they're careful to say, like, don't come expecting a panel conversation or a TED Talk. This is meant to be raw, honest conversations about what it's like being a Black journalist who covers DC. And I think, we're all rightfully thinking about local media right now, and unfortunately, that does mean layoffs. We already know that layoffs disproportionately impact Black staff. At the Post, 45% of Black union members were laid off compared with 37% of white guild members. And so that's a problem for all kinds of reasons. But to me, there is just really no version of telling the story of local DC without including Black voices. And so I'm looking forward to this event where these people who have been in the field doing the work really get honest about what that's been like for them and what kind of stories they've covered in a personal, real way.
Who's going to be there?
We've got Deborah Berry from USA Today. Shedrick Pelt, who is a photographer who works with the Post and 51st State, and the 51st. Andrew Mambo, which is a very DC last name of NPR, and Micah Green from the Washington Informer.
And when is that again?
That is April 16th at 7:30 at Penn Social.
And so just for people who don't know, what are these folks like? Do you have a sense of like what their specific beats have been? If we're looking for like what kind of dishy stories they might tell us?
Well, I will say one of the people that I'm looking forward to hearing from most is Pelt, the freelance photojournalist, because one, I don't know much about photojournalism, and DC has so many interesting protests and activations and events happening. I will be very curious to know what it's like capturing that from, behind the camera from a local perspective. So that's something I don't know anything about as somebody who works in audio. So yeah, very much looking forward to hearing from Pelt.
What about you, Annie? What you looking forward to this month?
Okay, it's hardly very original. However, I've made a choice that I'm going to get into baseball.
Ooh.
And this is partially because we have a baby on the way. And my husband and I were talking about, like, I want to raise like a fan of something. I think it's like fun to be a fan. And we both have different teams. And I was like, you know what? I kind of I'm going to get into the Nats. And specifically, I'm going to get into the Nationals. So the opening day for the Nationals, like at home, is Friday, April 3rd. And there's a couple cool ways to do it. They have these $5 tickets for district residents. And these are the cheap nosebleed seats. They're not that good. But the nice thing about it is that if you get these $5 tickets, then you have like your extra money for the concessions. And this year, beer is also cheaper because the Nats have not historically been very good. So there was a news announcement where they're actively lowering the price of beer. So it's like $9 for a tall boy now, as opposed to like 16, which I think is like hilarious.
I love that was in the news. Like extra, stop the presses. Cost of beer at games going down.
From what I'm reading about baseball fanhood and how worried they are, your baby will like single-handedly bring down the average age of the stadium attendees.
You know what? We've all got a lot to do to make a good community, and this is like one of the things that I'm going for. Kayla, our wonderful newsletter writer, did last year her favorite eats at Nats Park. There are more that have been added this year: Cornucopia, Don Churro Ethiopian Eats, Fuzzy's Burger, and Stuggy's Gourmet Hot Dogs, all with ridiculous names. But I think the food at Nats Park is actually like getting better. The vibe is great. And so if you're able to get these district tickets, which again, you have to just actually like go in person. I don't think you can get them online. And they are not for every single home game, but they're for most home games. I think like weeknights tend to be a great possibility. So on those late afternoons or evenings where it's a beautiful day and you want to try to get into Nats Park, that's going to be, I think, what I'm doing this April.
Awesome. That sounds like a winning April.
Are either of you baseball fans? And did you grow up with like strong fandom?
I grew up as an enormous baseball fan. I grew up here in Washington, D.C., but in those days, if you were a D.C. resident, you were an Orioles fan.
Yeah. Well, and Camden Yards is a great park.
I'm a little too old for that. It was Memorial Stadium, which was like an okay park. But,
okay.
But, we would drive up, my family, in our Toyota Corolla a few times a year. And it was like this special treat. And my dad had grown up in New York, and he would talk about how they used to just be able to take the subway to games. And I thought that was so amazing. If only I could live in that kind of city. And now you are about to raise your baby in exactly that kind of city.
That's right.
I did not grow up with sports fandoms. The first time I ever attended a baseball game, it was to impress the parents of somebody I was dating. And the whole family were very deep Mets fans. And I later realized that meant that when they would go to baseball games, they would be sad a lot of the times or grumpy a lot of the times because I don't think the Mets at the time were a good team. And that is where I first realized that baseball games are several hours long and that a lot of it is just sitting in the hot, hot sun with people who are like really kind of not having a great time because their team is losing.
I think that's true. I'm a little worried. I'll keep you all posted about how my nascent fandom is going, but I'm excited. There's also a great and really fun minor league team, the Bowie Bay Sox. So we'll see. I don't know. broadening my horizons this April. What about you, Mike?
I've got a couple things I really want to do this month. I have never been to the Capitol Classic, and I want to go. It's the first weekend of April. That's Saturday, April 4th, Capital One Arena. The girls' game is at 10:30. The boys' game is at noon. For those of you who don't know, it's another sports thing, but it's like a basketball game with the best of sort of DC high school basketball against players from around the country. Over the years, like everyone who is anyone in basketball has played in this game. I don't really know anything about basketball. I'm kind of an ignoramus about it, but I love like sports events that are like part of the culture, the fabric of a place. And I want to go and like gawk as much at the ritual and the enthusiasm as at the actual play, which I'm really not in a position to judge of how amazing it is. Although I hear it's amazing.
Our producer, Julia, the true sports fan among us, probably just with her head in her hands listening to this. But that sounds really fun.
And then the other thing, 44, the musical, is coming to Washington. This is the sort of the Hamilton about Obama. And I don't know it. Like on the one hand, it's like, this might be too soon. You know, it's gotten like pretty good reviews elsewhere. It's not been in Washington before, I don't think. But like, it feels a little close, a little close to the surface. And I feel like the original Hamilton, in a weird way, is a fairly good metaphor for how the country got to this dark place we're in. It's coming to DC. I think it'll get pretty big crowds.
Ooh, I have such a weird love-hate thing with Hamilton. I was an early adopter of Hamilton, but am I the only one who feels like looking back, it's kind of cringe? It's just there's sort of an earnestness to it that I think I don't think it has the cachet that it once had, and I'm curious if what 44 will be like, if it will have a similar trajectory.
I mean, I think the knock on it of Hamilton is like, here was this like incredibly expensive ticket that became like a symbol for who like American liberal or Democrats or whatever were around 2016. And when like Lin-Manuel Miranda was on SNL and he was like saying, "You're never going to be president," to a picture of Trump, it made for a pretty good representation of why precisely a lot of people wanted him to be president. With the 44, the bigger thing for me is like, it does kind of feel like ancient, like history, like almost as old as a powdered wig because of what's happened since. And I don't know if I'm ready to feel that old.
Yeah. Well, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts and maybe to go myself. I don't know. I hear all the criticism about Hamilton and how it kind of feels like this odd relic. I haven't listened to it in a long time. And then I recently had a flight where for some reason I listened to the entirety of the soundtrack. And I got to say, like, it's very specific. It's really a moment in time, but it's still
of an era.
It did still really work for me. Yeah. I did find myself crying at one point on this flight.
Oh my gosh. Just because something is of an era doesn't mean that it can't also be good and a moving piece of art.
That's true. So where's 44 happening, Mike?
At Shakespeare Theater Company. It opens April 18th, and it's going to be here for a couple months. You don't have to do it in April, but that's when it opens.
As a certified taco lover, I am very excited for this. District Bridges Torre del Taco returns to DC for its 4th year. Here's how it works. From April 1st to April 30th, food lovers like me can earn points by exploring local taco and pupusa restaurants and supporting small businesses. Complete challenges in the free online game to score points and win the ultimate title of DC's Taconasaur. And new this year, in-person taco crawls in Columbia Heights, Mount Pleasant, Cleveland Park, and 14th Street, where you get to vote on your favorite and be entered to win cool swag. Sign up for free and start earning points today at districtbridges.org/Torre del Taco.
Don't miss Folger's Theaters As You Like It, playing now through April 19th at the Folger Shakespeare Library. Envisioned by artistic director Karen Ann Daniels and directed by Timothy Douglas, this vibrant production is a love note to DC with the Forest of Arden evoking the vibes, culture, and character of some of the district's favorite spaces. Featuring choreography from Tony Thomas of Folger Theater's Helen Hayes Award-winning production of Metamorphoses and original music by Grammy Award nominee Kokai, don't miss this take on Shakespeare's playful and musical comedy. Tickets start at $20 and can be purchased online at folger.edu or by phone at 202-544-7077. Get yours today.
As much as I love springtime in DC, it also means allergy season. And as somebody with severe allergies, that means spring in DC can be rough. And did you know that if your windows are not properly installed or insulated, pollen can still make its way into your home, even if your windows are closed? So what better time to replace those busted old windows than Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale going on now. You can save up to 50% off all the windows for your home. Window Nation's installation crews will finish the job in 1 day or less, so you can enjoy the rest of summer with minimal disruption. Best of all, they offer a lifetime warranty on all their windows, so you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. You better hurry because the sale ends soon. Schedule a fast, free consultation now at windownation.com.
All right. Well, another great thing that I think that people could do this April is become a CityCast DC member. You can do that at membership.citycast.fm. As Bridget was saying, this is a moment of great upheaval in local DC media. And we are in this period of great expansion at CityCast, and we're adding original beat reporting, and we're trying to fill some of that void that has been left and vacated. And we're really excited to evolve and to become more of a news source for everyone. And so this is, an even better time than most to support this work and become a member. You can do that at membership.citycast.fm.
If you join, in addition to having the satisfaction of having supported the work of us, which is actually, although we make it look real easy, it's actually, there's a lot of work that goes on in bringing our news episodes to the public, doing reporting, doing research, booking guests, and finding a way of representing our city. But in addition to that, you get ad-free listening, you get members-only events, and you'll get a free newsletter each and every month. And then as we expand out with our reporting product, there's also going to be a lot more newsletters and news reserved for people who actually subscribe. So we hope they'll do that.
Yes, support us to take a big baseball style swing. I don't know if that's a baseball term, but I'm running with it. It's just $10 a month or $100 for the year. You can go to membership.citycast.fm to become a member today.
Also, because it's April every year, I guess for the last 12 years at least, there's been an event called New Kitchens on the Block. It's at Mess Hall in Brookland. But what it is a bunch of new restaurants that are going to open up, kind of offer a preview. They haven't opened yet. And you get to sort of sample what they're going to be doing. There's a bunch of new places this year. There's the new all-day cafe concept from Fabio Tribocci. There's Alfie's in Monstera, which is from Alex McCoy, who you may know from Lucky Buns, and Justin Ahn from Incheon. There's Ebbett House, which is from Clyde's Restaurant Group. It's a sort of a special place for Old Ebbett Grill. And there's Maurizio's by the Cava team and Aris Tsakouras. There's a flat fee, 2 sessions on April 25th in Brookland, and I'm looking forward to going to that.
Yeah, that's cool. Mess Hall is it's like an incubator, right? So a lot of different chefs and kitchens kind of come through there.
Right. And so this will be like foodie heavy and sample heavy. It won't, if past is prologue, it won't be like the full menu or anything. It'll be samples of what they're going to be doing. But if you'd like to be ahead of the game and then you can go drop to your neighbors your knowledge of something that hasn't even opened yet, it's kind of fun.
Is it the kind of thing where that could be dinner, or would you still need to plan?
Ooh.
Sometimes I go to these kinds of things and I think I'm out to get dinner, and then it's like, oh, well, I got heavy apps, not necessarily dinner.
I think you can. It's only a noon and a 3 p.m.er, so dinner might be ambitious. But yes, I think you'll be able to feed yourself very thoroughly.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear.
What about y'all?
Well, there's a restaurant opening that I am really excited about. It is from the people who owned and ran Tail Up Goat, which closed at the end of last year. It's their new restaurant in the same space called Rye Bunny. And I think the idea is that it is a little bit sort of a more affordable cousin. But basically, I used to live in that area, Adams Morgan. And I was one of many people who was really sad to see Tail Up Goat close. It felt like a DC mainstay that I was sort of bummed to see change. And so I'm really pumped for Rye Bunny. It opens on April 2nd. And I have not checked out how easy or hard it's going to be to get a reservation, but you can expect that I will be trying to do that.
You know, the Obamas once ate at Tail Up Goat. It was huge news.
I remember that. back when the president didn't exclusively go to the nicest steak joints near the White House.
Right. Or if somebody in the administration went to a smaller local place, they might get shouted out.
Does that still happen? I mean, I feel like that was such a storyline of the first Trump term in Washington.
Just a few months ago, Scott Bessent from the Trump administration was shouted out of Revelers Hour in Adams Morgan.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I'm surprised he would go. I mean, their sort of retreat from the city where they might run into strangers has been such a theme of the second Trump administration, where so many of these people live on a military base, fearful for their safety. So there's just a lot less chance of running into them around town where someone might shout at them or, for that matter, say hi, you know?
It's true. It's a really different way to be interacting with DC. Like that was kind of a hallmark of this version of DC that doesn't seem to exist in the same way right now.
Bridget, what are you looking forward to?
Okay, so I have always wanted to be somebody who drank bourbon. I feel that there's something very sexy and cool about drinking a bourbon neat. However, I don't like the taste of bourbon, really. I haven't really drank a lot of it. And I feel like if I have two, I would be on my butt.
Toasted.
Yeah, I would be toasted. However, there is going to be a bourbon tasting at something called the Rhinestone Rodeo. This really sounds like it was an event designed for me. It's at Longview Gallery, and they say that the gallery becomes a rhinestone-lit honky-tonk built for the gays, the gal pals, the couples, the lovers, and the friends. And
Which
anybody,
one are you?
You could put me in for a little of all the columns: the gays, the gal pals, the couples, the lovers, the friends. I'll take a little of all of that. And anybody ready to get down DC cowboy style, they're going to have a bourbon tasting. There's going to be line dancing, live music, a DJ. So if you are somebody who went a little crazy when Beyonce said, "It's country music now" on her Cowboy Carter tour, and you bought boots and stuff, it's a great excuse to bust out those boots.
I was one of those people. I did get some boots on Buy Nothing for Beyonce, but I did have like a full get up for the Cowboy Carter tour. So that I'll have to check that out. Bridget, I used to work at Jack Rose in DC. That was one of my side hustles early on. And one of the things you have to do at Jack Rose, this like massive whiskey tasting emporium, is take a 12-page test on like all the regions for Scotch in Scotland, and know like major distillers and makers, and like know what bottled and bond is. Don't ask me, I've kind of forgotten. Anyway, I do still have my notes and like to break them out from time to time. So when I'm drinking bourbon again, we should chat bourbon.
Did that course also teach you how to distinguish between gal pals and lovers?
That's all intuitive, Mike. You got to just feel your way on that.
Either you know it or you don't, Mike.
Yeah.
God, I'm getting schooled here. I'm a bourbon drinker, but I have lately felt like maybe I should switch drinks. I don't know why. I don't actually drink that much at all. But Bridget, maybe we could do some sort of swap. I can give you my bourbon in exchange for something. If you pick me a new drink.
I will make you all my cocktails of choice are very girly. I want an Aperol Spritz or a French 75. And
I'm very comfortable in my gender identity, and I'll happily drink one of those.
Good. I like this. I'll be sipping bourbon sexily at the end of the bar, and you'll be drinking a fruity cocktail. I love it.
From a straw.
Yeah, with a little umbrella in it.
2 straws. Yeah, exactly. One thing I'm really excited about in April is that I really see April as the start of picnic season. And I take picnics really seriously. My picnic game got really strong during COVID because, well, out of necessity, there were a lot more outdoor hangs. But not only do I have really good quality lightweight picnic blankets that I'll like roll up and I can like wear in a little sling, but I have a portable speaker. I have nice plastic or acrylic glassware. I have candles in little things for when it gets too dark. I also have other little battery powered lights. So I take like a picnic and the vibes really seriously. And I do think that DC, by virtue of its incredible like little neighborhood parks that are in a lot of places, I do think it's a really wonderful place to picnic in. And one of my favorite things to do starting in April is to kind of post up and say like, hey, I'll be at this place for a few hours. Anyone, wants to come through can come through. And it's really fun. And there's always great people watching. And it just feels better. It's kind of like how things taste better when you go camping. I feel kind of the same way about picnicking.
Being the friend that's good at picnicking and is going to start the picnic conversation and pick the date and do all the organizing, that is such a flex. That's the glue of the friend group right there.
Ooh, thank you.
When's the end of picnic season? Because I feel like that's the thing of April is that it's your little window when it's nice and warm, but no mosquitoes.
That's a great question. I consider picnic season to be all of the warm months. It is true that like it dies a bit in summer, but we always have those like certain summer days where it's like actually gorgeous out. And so then it's a perfect day to actually be outside. I would say though that, yeah, the shoulder season. So like April, May, and then starting to get into like September. And then like, yeah, September or early October are really like idyllic picnic season. What about you guys?
So this is part tip, part something I do every April and part event. Same way that April is the start of picnic season for you, April is the start of seeing music outside season for me. It's something that I also take very seriously. I like to go clubbing. I love house music. I love a rave. I think that people think of those things as events you might find in cities like New York or cities like Detroit, which is the birthplace of house music. However, I'm very happy to report that DC does have a really strong scene these days with a lot of collectives and clubs curating great outdoor events this month. And to that end, a bunch of the biggest outdoor house electronic music rave events have all converged on one specific weekend in April, the weekend of April 18th.
Whoa.
Now, I have heard so that all sounds like peaches and cream. However, I have heard some rumblings that this might not be by accident, that there might be some friendly or perhaps less than friendly competition that explains why one big club announced a big event for that weekend and then all the others followed suit. However, their beef might be our gain because it's going to be a fun weekend, I think, for people who like this kind of music.
Totally. Wait, you're gonna be a shell by Monday. You're gonna have been to all of the cool concerts.
Well, you could go to all of them. To me, that is a rookie mistake. I'm also a little older, so I pick one, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not Ubering across the city to try to make it to all of them. Pick one and post up is my advice. So on April 18th, you have Project Glow's Chris Lake Block Party on the Mall. So Chris Lake is this massive English electronic DJ who is taking over Pennsylvania Avenue for what they say is the first ever electronic block party in downtown DC. I think this is going to be fun. I'm not totally sold on the vibe of big events on the mall, but even if you are not somebody who would ever think to check this out, I bet it will cause a lot of traffic irregularities because events like this are always kind of a big mess. So just keep that in mind if you need to be traveling around the mall area on April 18th.
More traffic irregularities. They never stop around the mall. It's just don't drive around the mall. Try not to do it, folks.
That's really the takeaway.
But wait, Bridget, where do you like to go out to go clubbing to listen to electronica and house music?
Oh, I really like Flash.
Flash is awesome.
I don't think it's opened yet. I think that starts in May, but their Sundown Rooftop series is perfect for me because you get to be on the roof, you get to have the open air, and it's a day party. So you're back home by 10 o'clock. You can be in bed by 11 if you want.
Flash is great. What about you, Mike?
I think spring in Washington there's so many flowers and the cherry blossoms kind of suck up all the oxygen. But this year, is one of the many America 250 related things. The Botanical Gardens down the mall is having an exhibit of state flowers. What are the state flowers? Do you guys know what the state flower of Washington, D.C. is?
No. Is it the cherry blossom?
It is not.
Okay, let me guess. Actually, I can't. What is it?
It is the American Beauty Rose. It's not.
Oh, I would not have gotten
not
that.
that original. But here, so I'm gonna go down there, and I like to rank states based on various things like their flags and their flowers and their birds. We'll see who's cool and who's not, and I'll report back about what I find out.
That sounds great. The state flower of Missouri, it's the white hawthorn blossom. I thought it was the dogwood, but it's the dogwood tree is the state tree.
The dogwood is the flower of Virginia and North Carolina.
Oh.
That seems kind of lazy, Missouri. Like,
show me a better flower.
I know.
I feel like you guys are. I mean, it's not like our state flower is all that original, but
the rose.
It just feels like we're kind of phoning it in here.
I don't know. I don't know, but I agree. I do love that sounds like a really fun exhibit. And one of my favorite things about spring and early summer is basically when you are starting to be more aware of what different flowers and flowering trees are named. And they all kind of come within like a week or two or three of each other. And there's this like staggering effect. Like I love the post cherry blossom season that goes into redwoods that like eventually gives way to wisteria, and it feels like through summer there's always a new thing blooming. And when you're like more in touch with that, I think it's really, really fun. So I'll have to check out that exhibit at the Botanic Garden.
Well, I hope you guys both have an awesome April.
You too. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And listener, do not go anywhere. In just a second, we've got a segment sponsored by District Bridges. Annie Reese is chatting with Anna Claire Walker about Tour del Taco.
Hey, executive producer Annie Reese here with Anna Claire Walker from District Bridges. Hi, Anna Claire.
Hi, Annie.
So, Anna Claire, Tour del Taco is back for its fourth year. For listeners who may not know, tell us what it is, how did it get started, and how has it changed over the years?
So 4 years ago, we really wanted to celebrate the amazing local restaurants that serve tacos. We work in the Columbia Heights, Mount Pleasant area, as well as Georgia Avenue, U Street, and Logan Circle, and Cleveland Park, and Chevy Chase. And there were just so many amazing restaurants, immigrant-owned restaurants that serve incredible food. And we were like, how could we have a campaign that celebrates them, not just for one event? How could we visit multiple restaurants in one event? And
Nice.
thus Tour del Taco was born. So it is basically a month-long festival of our local restaurants where participants can log their visits to businesses and basically win prizes for trying as many tacos and pupusas as they can. So over the years, we have expanded it to different neighborhoods. Now it's citywide, and you can actually get points for visiting any taco place in the city, not just our participating businesses. And we've expanded it to include pupusas because we have so many amazing pupusa places in Columbia Heights and Mount Pleasant as well. So it felt silly not to include pupusas too.
Totally.
And new this year, brand new, we've never done this. We're going to have in-person taco crawls every Tuesday in April. So we're going to pick a different neighborhood, go try 3 to 5 restaurants, and vote on our favorite out of those that evening and crown a winner. And you'll also win prizes for whoever eats the most tacos that night. So there's kind of so many different ways to play and win prizes. We've got tons of donated gift cards that will be raffled off to participants over the course of the month. So it's April 1st through 30th. And on the online campaign, you basically complete a series of challenges to win points. So some of those are, like I was talking about, visiting an actual restaurant, but there's lots of other ways to show your support to the small business community in there that doesn't require making a purchase, like leaving a positive review for a business or showing us a selfie with your favorite bartender or, things like that.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's hands down my favorite campaign that District Bridges does all year long. Our staff waits for the announcement of this campaign because we all love it so much.
That's awesome. I also have to say I appreciate something that is both delicious and alliterative. Tour del Taco really rolls off the tongue. You're doing a lot of stuff on Tuesdays. It's all aligning for me.
Oh, yeah.
Why are events like this especially important for small businesses in DC right now?
Yeah, it's just been so hard for small businesses. What we're hearing, we work with nearly 800 businesses across the city. And what we're hearing across the board is that the cost of doing business is higher. Taxes on businesses are higher. Pepco bills on businesses are higher. There's all these costs that just get bigger and bigger every year. And their profits do not get bigger and bigger every year. In fact, with everything going on in DC and with the general kind of economic climate, a lot of them are really struggling. So a one-off event at one business is great. We do trivia nights, we do karaoke nights, we do a lot of events to try to promote foot traffic. But what's fun about these month-long campaigns is that it helps you not just do it for one day, but it helps you put in the mindset of oh, wait, I've got time for lunch. Why don't I go get a taco here and also win points and potentially win a gift card? So it's just great for their marketing, their promotion, and also to get foot traffic, not just for one night, but the whole month long.
Nice. And so remind folks how to get involved real quick.
Yeah, go to districtbridges.org/Tour del Taco, and you'll be able to enter in your email and start playing for free and start winning those points. And also on our website are the event information for each of the taco crawls if you want to RSVP, and those are free as well.
All right. Well, I will see you there. Thanks for talking with us, Anna Claire Walker.
Talk about it. I had to say it.
Again, check out districtbridges.org to learn more. We'll have that link for you in our show notes as well, so you're just a click away. Thanks for listening.
And that's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Bye.